with a vision. Ignorance can be defeated through education. He is Ziad Ahmed, a young Bangladeshi American activist who is fighting for racism, who founded a website for that reason, and he was honored in White House, an iftar party, sitting next to President Obama, and he has included in the speech. I would invite Ziad Ahmed come and give his experience over here.
Thank you for that. So basically, yeah, I'm Ziad Ahmed, and I founded an organization known as Redefy the summer before my 9th grade year. Our mission statement is to defy stereotypes, redefine perspectives positively, embrace acceptance, and create an active community. We're primarily an online-based platform where you can reach us at redefy.org, but through our time, we've grown immensely. So now we're a team of over 80 individuals internationally. We function in 10 countries and around 12 states. And we're really trying to make a difference on many different levels so that we can defeat ignorance through education. We are a yearly rotating mission, and our mission for 2015 is to reduce racial prejudice and hate within our community. We do this by posting articles approximately every 3 days, having a stories page where anyone is eligible to post stories about their experiences or observations about stereotypes. We have a bi-monthly conversation series for teens to discuss current events, because we feel that oftentimes in our conventional curriculums, current events are overlooked. We're able to talk about World War II, but we're not able to talk about the Iraq War. We need to have the skills to talk about these things to understand how justice is being manifested in today's day and age. So we also have speakers come in, we have social media campaigns, book campaigns, and etc., and try to partner with many local organizations to really make a profound difference, as well as national organizations. So a question I get a lot is, why did you start this? How did you go about starting this? And the reason I started this is because as a middle schooler, as someone who has been fortunate to be surrounded by people like yourselves who are passionate about making a difference, doing positivity in this world, spreading positivity in this world, I knew that it was my responsibility as a Bangladeshi Muslim American, as someone who's been blessed to have so much opportunity, to make a difference and to leave this world knowing that I tried to initiate a positive change. And I saw a community need, and I saw that I had the tools to address it. So oftentimes if you look at middle schools, high schools, school in general, there are a lot of kids who are excluded, ostracized, bullied, because of things they can't control. And most of it isn't out of necessarily maliciousness, but just out of ignorance. You hear a lot of derogatory terms, derogatory jokes in hallways and etc. And people say it and they say, oh, they don't mean it, it was just a joke. But those things have detrimental effects on society. People are impacted by the tone of the conversation. So my goal with Redefy was to change the conversation, was to start a thought process. Because a lot of teenagers, a lot of high schoolers are interested in talking about where's the next party, who's my next relationship, etc. Or just about grades. But there is more than that, and they think that high schoolers can't be involved in conversations about current events and politics and social justice. But I sought to address that by creating a platform online and in reality where kids could be actively involved in that conversation and sort of try to inspire and foster that activism. And I think that we really had a lot of success in our efforts. There's been a significant decrease in uses of derogatory terms and just increased awareness within my own school, at Princeton Day School in Princeton, New Jersey, as well as a lot more people every day we're spreading. There are people all over the world who are hearing about us through Twitter, through news, or etc., who want to get involved and who want to help spread a difference and make a difference. Because there is such a beautiful and amazing diversity that exists in this world, and people want to be engaged in that and to make a difference. And we've been fortunate to be featured in MTV News, The Washington Post, be commended at the White House iftar, and that was just a surreal experience in general. To be invited to the White House, to be able to speak to the president, to be included in his remarks was truly such a blessing from God, and I was very thankful to everyone who's ever supported me. But yeah, so that's basically my story, and I would love for all of you to be involved in the work that I'm doing through Redefy and other ventures, but I'd love to hear any of your questions about my work.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello. So in this day and age where we have so much social media and so much access to news, and you constantly consume all of this information, and you kind of become your own researcher. You kind of keep looking at all the articles that you want to read, that support what you want to know, and you kind of everyone who reads kind of is biased on what they want. So it seems like you're reaching out to all these people who want to make a positive impact, and these are all the people who kind of look for Redefy, something like Redefy, to do something. So how do you reach the people who don't want to look in the same direction that you're looking at, and how do you make them kind of become more perceptive to what you're trying to explain?
That's a great question. That's one of the biggest obstacles that we face, trying to engage people who wouldn't otherwise consider themselves interested in social justice or the like. And one of the ways that we sought to address that specifically this year is we've completely restructured our organization so that we have programming teams, writing teams, film teams, photography teams, etc. So that when we go out to our high schools, when we go out to middle schools, we can say, instead of saying, oh, are you interested in social justice, join our work, we're saying, work with us with what your skill set is, and subsequently you'll be educated about the work that we're doing. So we're bringing in programmers who wouldn't necessarily be interested in social justice, but as they're programming our app and inputting our content into the app, they learn about the work that we're doing. And we also try to engage more people by having events at schools and holding workshops in middle schools that aren't necessarily optional, right? If we come in to speak to a middle school or do a workshop, there's a lot of kids there who are being educated, being engaged in a mandatory setting. And also we just try to have a lot of engaging people come and speak and events that people are interested in, like such as our conversation series for teens. We had one about the presidential debate, and a lot of kids who were interested in politics came, but that was sort of how, the conversation was about how the presidential candidates are addressing social justice. So we try to find a bridge between people's existing interests in social justice and diversity work, and try to engage people in that way.
So I know you said that you do work in 80 different countries international, am I right?
No, there's 80 different students who are on the team. We mentioned like 10 countries, I think.
Okay, so now for those countries, how do you reach out to the people in those countries? Is it customized to the country because of the different cultures, or is there like a set guideline that you have?
So right now we have a school representatives team, which is around 80 people, and they're just trying to support our cause in whatever way they can, whether it be to make a speech at their school or etc. But now with our restructuring, we're setting up clubs and we're setting up projects within different countries, and as that sort of grows and manifests, we're definitely going to try to be more culture specific and try to address how we can most make a difference within community to community. Because even within Princeton, to like a club we're setting up in Buffalo, the community is different, and we have to be sensitive to that and try to make and maximize our impact within the communities we're reaching out to.
First of all, what I want to say is that I'm really impressed with someone your age being able to do so much, so I want to say thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I have a question here that's kind of relevant, not just the students here your age, but also parents. What have you noticed about the way your parents have supported you versus maybe your peers who are also Bangaldeshi that might not get the same support or do support? What are some factors you've noticed that your parents have given you that allows you to be this creative as an entrepreneur yourself?
Well, I think that my parents have never sheltered me. When I was younger, and a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers weren't allowed to watch the news because they thought it would be too detrimental to their psyche. But my parents always encouraged me to watch the news, and they took me to events like this and other community service events. And from a very young age, I saw the injustices around me, whether it was going to Bangladesh and my dad telling me about the corruption that was occurring in Bangladesh, or whether or whether it was seeing the beggars of Bangladesh, or whether it was whatever injustices that I saw in the news, I saw that there were problems in the world from a very young age, and I was always adamant that I was going to do something to address them. And I think furthermore, my parents allowing me to have access to technology from a young age really fostered who I am today. Because I was reading blogs and news from since 3rd grade, in the 4th grade 2008 election. I read every single candidate's policy in depth. I didn't understand most of it, but my parents gave me the tools to be interested in it. And because of that, because I was interested in social media from a young age and news, now we have almost 2,000 likes on Facebook and 30,000 hits on our website, because I understood how these things work from a young age, was interested in them, and my passion has only grown since then.
I certainly applaud. I mean, I'm extremely impressed.
Thank you.
I don't know how to applaud it. But is there a way that you are planning to measure how your impacts are making a difference?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you should. I'm just thinking. Are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I definitely am. So after every one of our events, we actually give out a survey and ask people to rate our events and give us suggestions and tell us what worked, what didn't work. Did they really gain something meaningful from our events? We're also, through our whole restructuring, we're trying to make our social media a lot more engaging and administer surveys in that way. But yeah, surveys are a primary way of measuring impact, as well as the numbers, right? Because I think the engagement on our social media accounts says a lot. Because in this day and age, there are so many accounts to like, so many accounts to follow, so many things that people can be interested in. But to have a team of over 80 people, to have 30,000 hits, to have 2,000 likes, that speaks volumes. And we hope to grow that, because that shows that people care and people want to make a difference with Redefy. And through that and through surveys, we think that we can make a meaningful difference. But I think most valuably to me is when people come back to me and say, look, you really changed my opinion about something. You've made me realize that there is an issue here and I'm going to do something about it. And more people saying that, commenting on our articles, reading them and saying, look, I saw something here that I didn't see before, that's where the value lies. And that's where I think the measurable impact can be seen.
Really, congratulations for all of your work that you have done. It's very impressive. So, I'm thinking you had a iftar party with the president.
Yeah.
Now, you must have made a positive impact over his vision on how he's also trying, as we see every day in the news, he's also trying how to handle this issue. Did you get any guidance from the government that, or any cooperation, any assurance that how the people, how at your age, has the vision to make an impact?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think before going to the White House iftar, I think like many of us, I had a very, a less than ideal perspective of the government, right? We think that oftentimes we feel that the government isn't doing enough, or isn't trying hard enough, or isn't representing our interests, or etc. And when I was little, I wanted to be the president. I wanted to be in politics. But as I grew up, as I sort of saw the jaded side of politics, I sort of wanted to go more into business. But going to the White House iftar, meeting people like Ramana Ahmed, who was the one who originally got me invited after she called me after the original MTV News article was published about me, and meeting people like her, and meeting the president, and hearing them talk passionately about the issues that mean most to them, really, really profoundly touched me in a way that I did not anticipate. I really saw how there are thousands of people working at the White House, in the Dwight D. Eisenhower building, and in the West Wing, and the East Wing, but they're all really trying to make a difference, and they are making a difference. And I didn't think that was the case, but hearing them talk and hearing, we heard from a bunch of White House staffers at a meeting before the White House iftar, and I was really, and the one message that stuck with me is that the Muslim American community has to stay engaged. Oftentimes we talk amongst ourselves about politics, but we have to talk to our congressmen. We have to stay engaged in politics because that's the way that our agenda will be heard. And we can't expect for our agenda to be heard if we're not saying it, if we're not talking about it, if we're not advocating it. So when I walk, and sitting at the White House iftar table, at the president's table, with Samantha Alof, who just won a Supreme Court case, and Munir Khalif to my other side, who just got into all 8 Ivies, and being empowered by these people, never in my life have I been so proud to be a Muslim, to be American, and so steadfast in my belief that my identity is not contradictory. And walking away from that table, hearing the president say, look, if you just keep on doing what you're doing in the next 20 years, your movement will snap the nation, I walked away so inspired to keep doing the way that I'm doing and to not shy away from my identity. Because oftentimes it's hard to do the work that I'm doing, and when people say, oh, how can you believe in gay rights when you're Muslim, or how can you do this because you're Muslim? And I'm not going to shy away from who I am and what I believe, because I am everything I am because of my religion, and nothing that I believe jeopardizes that. And meeting those people, gaining that connection, hearing from the president, and hearing him reaffirm that what I'm doing is making a difference on a national level, I walked away wanting to make more of a difference in politics, adding an additional goal to my own agenda to make the Muslim American community more engaged within politics. And really just to make as much of a difference I can within Redefy. Because there is an audience for what I'm saying, and my voice isn't lesser because I'm young or because I am Muslim or anything. It's only loud.
I think I heard you mention about bullying. I think bullying is really beginning of a lot of wrong that goes in this society, and bullying comes in so many forms. And I was wondering if you would have any emphasis to address that with your platform. I know that in school they're trying to prevent it, but actually it's a hoax. It's really a hoax. So what would be your plan if you want to address at the very root of a lot of problem that really grows in this society?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Bullying is a huge issue and it manifests itself in many different ways. And I think the way that we're trying to address it is to address it at its root. Most of bullying comes from ignorance. People shy away from attack that which they deem as different, right? People they bully Muslims, they bully disabled people because they're unfamiliar with it, they're uncomfortable with it. So what we're trying to do is destigmatize these things. If we did destigmatize Islam, destigmatize disability, destigmatize whatever minority expression one might identify with, then the bullying won't manifest. Because if people understand that we're more alike than we are different and rally behind that concept, so much change can be had. One of the things that I like to preach a lot is what everyone wants is a world where their children are safe. A world where their children are safe and accepted. But the only way we can guarantee that is if we all rally behind that same concept. If we all teach our kids that we have to ensure everyone's safety for ourselves to be safe, everyone will indeed be safe. Because if we say, look, we're all the same, we're all human, humanity comes first. None of our differences are worthy of bullying, harassment, discrimination, exclusion, ostracizing, etc. And if we just try to rally behind that, teach our kids that we need to be open, aware, educated, welcoming, through education, through educating about awareness, about the diversity that exists, then the bullying won't manifest. Because people will rally behind our similarities, our diversity. And I'm not trying to I don't believe in trying to make people less proud of their identity. We're all here in Bangaldeshi, and that's a beautiful thing. But we can still love and accept everyone of all cultures, right? Of all identities. And that's something we have to emphasize and educate about. Because people bully because they don't know. They don't know what Islam is. They talk out of ignorance. They think that Islam is inherently related to terrorism, and etc. But if we educate them about what Islam really is, that we're a religion of peace, that we're a religion that doesn't advocate these things, then the bullying won't manifest. Or at least that's my hope. Thank you.
Well, okay, go ahead.
So you might have mentioned this already, but I'm like looking for clarification kind of. So does your organization target only the Muslim, like helping the Muslim community, or is it lots of different communities within different countries?
So basically, we're an organization that tries to address all social justice issues. We're an organization committed to defying stereotypes, promoting acceptance. We have a yearly rotating mission. Our mission for 2014 was promoting integration and education about those with disabilities or special needs. Our mission for 2015 is to reduce racial prejudice and hate within our community, whether that be about Islam, whether it be about the black community or the Mexican American community or whatever community it may be. And we try to address that no matter where we are. We try to be consistent throughout the board, where no matter our geographic location, this year trying to address racism. And then next year we'll do gender inequality, and we try to address all of the issues and try to really be a place where acceptance can breed and education can have a springboard.
What we learned from here, from this program, that the younger generation coming up, it was always for many, many years we have seen that what is success means, that every educated people came from